Alright, Shalom, Kol Halayim La, Abanawa Yahweh Bashim Yao Shai, Bashim Kakadash. I'd say the honors and respect to my apostles and elders, a great millstone, who rule all and taught us his truth. I would also like to say much love, peace, and salutations to the Lord's elect, the whole fucking 1/3. This is your brother Salah, and this is the part 3 to a response to the Bible was written by men. Yeah, all right, right here, judgment of the day of the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yashai. Howl ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand. It shall come as the destruction of the Almighty. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt, and they shall be afraid of pangs and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain. As a woman that travaileth, they shall be amazed at one another. Their faces shall be as flames. Right, but right, let's go in that word flames real quick. Let's see what that means.
Strong's H 3851 Lahav.
Lahab, a flame blade. A flame, a blade. Right. Let's go down here. Right, resembling a flame, a point of a spear. Right. So the Lord was mocking these people. Right, when He says, let's go back. Their faces shall be as flames. Right, shall be as spears. Because what's getting ready to happen to these people, when it says that.
These people are going to be fucking destroyed.
Yes.
Be like, that nuclear fire is going to basically melt their fucking faces off. And also, these same people, right? How do I say it? They're going to be like a literal, like almost like a woman. They're going to have their hands on their stomach. Like these men are going to act like they're going to have their hands on their stomach because they're going to be in so much pain. Similar to as of a woman, giving birth.
Yeah. The men are basically going to become bitches, right? Right, because of so much chaos and destruction that's happening, right? Right, the people are going to be in perplexity. They're not going to know what the fuck to do, man. The only people that are going to know what to do are the elect, man. Which, Lord willing, we be amongst that number, right? Right, if you keep continuing doing the work, man.
And this also reminds me, like, Wisdom of Solomon 5:5, I think. Solomon 5:5. Let's see. Yeah, it says no. What was it 5:2? Yeah, it says when they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of His salvation, so far beyond all they look for. Right, and that's also going back to these prophets. They're saying the same similar things. Right, they're seeing the same visions and things. Ultimately, these people, they're going to be amazed that the left are going to get beamed up in those chariots. Lord willing, we're part of that number, and they're going to see these nuclear missiles rain down upon them. Right, you're going to see the left get beamed up in those chariots, those so-called UFOs, and they're going to see these nuclear missiles basically destroy them. Wait, but you got it, Ak.
Yeah, Khan. Like how again the question, like, if the Bible's written by men, how these different men from across different time periods, right, know of this said coming destruction, right? How the fuck would they have known of this great destruction from the Lord? And they keep the same narrative too. Let's keep reading.
Yep.
Right. Right. So all right. So sorry, where was I? Yeah. Right here. Right here. Behold, the day of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahshai cometh, cruel both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and He shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. Right. Because why, man? That nuclear fallout, right? And I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity, and I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible, right? And that's chiefly Esau, Edom, right? But so these other nations in these 2/3. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the gold of Ophir, right? And that's referring to Isaiah 4:1, man. And they're speaking of the elect. Therefore will I shake the heavens, and the earth shall move out of her place in the wrath of the Lord of hosts, Yahweh Bashim Shai Sabaoth, meaning his armies, and the day of his fierce anger, right? And it shall be as a chased roe that, well, as a sheep that no man taketh up, and they shall turn, and they shall and shall every man turn to his own people and flee everyone to his own land, right? Because why, man? These Edomites, right? They're basically gonna get chased out while everyone else is gonna try to flee either to their own land, because why? Babylon the Great is about to get destroyed, right? And that's basically happening right now. The flights are
and
about
and
to be delayed.
and it's great. It's amazing, Ak, because basically the scriptures that you just read, all these different prophets, they were saying very similar things, like Esdras, right? Habakkuk. They were basically speaking about the destruction of Babylon, destruction of the wicked, right? And like for example, like they all these scriptures, they all these men, they're on the same accord. That's how these scriptures are true, right? And even we see Isaiah, is speaking about this verse. Their children shall be dashed to pieces, right? The same thing was being spoken about in the book of Second Esdras, right? All these books, right? You'll see, the prophets, they were always on one accord, right? Seeing the same vision.
Yeah, that's how I know it is not their own will, man. This is the will of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Like
Yep.
had they gone off, had they rebelled, right? Just like just like the prophet Jonah, right? What did he do when he rebelled? He got swallowed by a giant fish. It wasn't no damn whale. It could have been Leviathan. It could have been some other big giant fish species that we don't know about. But he got consumed, and he prayed to the Lord, or that he got, that he would get out, man. And then what? Carry out his will. And that's what basically all these prophets did. They followed exactly to a T what the Lord wanted them to do, man. And that's what we should be doing in these times, right? Right. In order for us to get delivered. All right. But let's continue. Um. Right here. Right here. Yes. Book. I believe it's the book of Daniel. Isaiah, Jeremiah. The book of the book of Jeremiah. What was it talking about? Prophecy against Babylon, right? Right. The word of the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahshai, spake against Babylon and against the land of Chaldeans, and by Jeremiah the prophet, declare ye among the nations and publish and set up a standard and publish and conceal not. Say Babylon is taken. Bel is confused. Merodach is broken to pieces. Her idols are confused. Her images are broken to pieces. For out of the north come the nation against her, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein, and they shall move. They shall depart, both man and beast. Right. And what's this talking about? That the land shall be desolate, man. It's talking about what the fuck's happening to America, because the modern day Babylon, which is Iraq, right, that's still inhabited, right. It's not desolate. This is a far future prophecy, right, and how do we know it's talking about America, right, right, because. All right, let's continue on. In those days, at the time, saith the Lord Yahweh Shemel, so the children of Israel shall come, and they and the children of Judah together, going and weeping, and they shall go seek the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai, their power. Right. Well, why did they say the children of Israel and the children of Judah? Well, it's because the children of Israel and Judah, they got separated, right. During during the time of King Solomon's reign, uh with
Jeroboam, Rehoboam.
Slack. Their names are slipping. Yeah, Jeroboam and Rehoboam, right? When Solomon sinned against the Lord by basically committing idolatry with his heathen wives, right? The northern and southern kingdom got separated, right? Which when the northern kingdom went into captivity under the Assyrians, right? They you could also read this in Second Ezra. They basically took a ship, right? All the way to the Americas, which basically took a year and a half, right? For them to get to. That's and that's why the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, verse 4, it said the children of Israel shall come, and this is like they and the children of Judah together. Why? Because correct me if I'm wrong, but at that time, right, during the time of Jeremiah, that's when both the northern and southern kingdom were split up, right?
Yeah. 1 second. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and look at that one, but you basically, how do we say, we that during the time of King Solomon's rulership, during Jeroboam, that's ultimately when the kingdom of Israel they started, basically, how do you say it? That was ultimately when you started to see the downfall of Israel.
Yeah. When the kingdom of Israel got divided in two, and when we got divided in two, man, that's basically when we fell, right? We basically didn't see Israel didn't get united until as of right now here in Babylon, the Great America, with both the northern, being you so-called Native Americans, Latinos, right, and you Southern Kingdom, right, Judah, right, which is so-called Negroes, Haitians, and Jamaicans, right, which we're about together here in the Americas.
Yeah, and it's spoken about in the book of Zephaniah how that basically those two olive branches, right, which which represents the northern and southern kingdom, they're ultimately going to come together, right? Where when you see the scripture speak about Judah and Israel, that's what they're speaking about, the northern and southern kingdom.
Yeah, and basically that prophecy is taking place right now, right? And when it talks about going and weeping, they shall go and seek the Lord, right? That's basically talking about the elect. Only the elect are right now are seeking the Lord Yahweh Bashim Shai. Well, 2/3 they don't give a shit, man. They're just destined to be destroyed, right? Right. So verse 5, they shall ask the way to Zion with their faces to the word, saying, "Come and let us join ourselves to the Lord Yahweh Bashim Shai in a perpetual covenant that shall not be forgotten. My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place, right? So, and what does that mean? Ultimately, we lost our heritage, right? Because at that time, Israel knew, because during the time of Jeremiah, like that's also another clue, right? Is because during the time of Jeremiah, Israel knew that they were still Israelites, and so did the Northern Kingdom, right? When they were here in the Americas, they knew that they were the children of Israel, right? We didn't lose our heritage until what during the until during the Renaissance, when Esau came back into power. This damn devil, he beat our heritage out of us, both Northern and Southern Kingdom, right, and forced us to take on their customs, right?
That was prophesied. We wouldn't remember our. I have a scripture on that actually.
Well, go ahead, Ak.
I have it on the video actually, but that was basically prophesied. That we wouldn't because there's a lot of people they basically how do I say it? Ultimately what I'm trying to say is if it wasn't for this truth, right? We wouldn't know we were Israelites because that was part of the curses. Ultimately for us to forget our heritage. We don't we didn't know exactly where we came from. But but now you're seeing Israelites that they're waking up. Finally seeing it. Ultimately if it wasn't for these scriptures, right, we wouldn't know we were Israelites.
Yeah, Khan, and that also goes to show you, man, that this book is divinely inspired. That also goes with the redemption of Israel, because again, man, how would these people back then know that we would forget our heritage? Right, that's something very specific. Like that's not something, that's not a general statement. If you say, oh, that's a like that's not a fucking general statement. How the hell did they know that we would forget who we were? This be because it was prophesied, man. It was written in heaven, man, that we would, and now we're coming back into that remembrance, right? The people that are claiming that they've always known, those mini fitters over there in the land. They're not true. They're not God's true chosen people, man. B.B. Milkowski and all them. Nah, man. They're Amalekites, man. They're Edomites, right? They're enemies of the Lord, right? The one who the Lord hates and is gonna destroy real soon.